This is a video in continuation with the chemical kinetics concepts which we have seen in our previous videos. Today I am going to discuss about the derivation of expression for rate constant of a zero order reaction. Also later we will discuss the derivation of rate constant expression for first order reaction. Now let us begin. Integrated expression for the rate constant of a zero order reaction. To derive this, we have to assume a zero order reaction first. So let R gives P be a zero order reaction. So we have assumed this reaction as a zero order reaction, for which we can represent the rate of reaction in two different ways. One is rate equals d of R by dt. Since this is the reactant, I will represent this with a negative sign. So rate is minus dr by dt. Let's call this equation as equation number 1. Also, according to law of mass action, I can write another rate equation where rate is equal to K into concentration of reactant power 0. And this will be equal to only K. Anything power 0 is 1, so only K is remaining. I'll call this equation as equation 2. Now from equation 1 and 2, we have got the expressions for rate of the same reaction R gives P. So from 1 and 2, equations 1 and 2, I can say that minus d of R by dt equals K. Alright. Now cross multiply this dt to RHS, you will get d of R equals K into dt. Also I will send this minus to RHS, so minus K into dt, where this small letter K indicates the rate constant of this zero order reaction. Alright. Now we have to integrate this expression, so I say integrate on both sides. Integrate on both sides. So what do we get? The integration of d of R equals minus K, this is a constant, so integration of dt. On integrating this expression, we get the result. D of R on integration gives R equals minus K, this is constant, and integration of dt becomes T plus an integration constant I. So we need to find out the value of I in the next step. So let us find out the value of I. Here I will consider the condition T equals 0. When time is 0, which means the beginning of the reaction, when the reaction not yet has started, the time is considered as 0. At that point of time, the concentration of reactant will be initial concentration R0. R0 is initial concentration and time is taken as 0. Now what happens to this expression? If I put R equal to R0, this becomes R0, which is equal to 0 plus I. So I got the value of I here. I is R0. Okay. Once again substitute the value of I in this equation, where we get concentration of R equals minus Kt plus concentration R0, that is initial concentration R0. Now take this Kt term to LHS, take it to LHS and send this R to RHS. Now what do you get? You will be getting Kt equals concentration R0 minus R. Finally, we wanted expression, integrated expression for the rate constant. So K I want to know. Therefore, K is equal to R0 minus R divided by T. This expression is the expression for rate constant of a zero order reaction. K is equal to R0 minus R by T. have a look at the derivation once, and if possible take a snapshot of this, screenshot of this. It will help you later. Now let us derive the expression for rate constant of a first order reaction. On the same lines the derivation goes, only extra terms will be involved in this. Let's see. Let R gives P be a first order reaction. So this time I have taken this reaction as first order reaction. Therefore, I can write the rate expression in two ways as we did earlier. Rate equals minus of dr by dt, and I call this as equation 1 once again. Also, according to law of mass action, I can write the rate equation like this also. Rate is equal to K into concentration of R power 1. Let's call this equation 2. Earlier, this power was 0 and only K was remaining. Now in this case, I have K as well as the concentration R. So let us compare these two equations again. So from equation 1 and 2, I get minus of dr by dt equals K into concentration of R. Okay, let us separate these variables dt and R here. I will cross multiply dt to RHS and R to LHS. So I get d of R by R equals minus K into dt. It is understood that minus was on LHS and I have sent it to RHS. Alright. Once again, similar to the previous derivation, integrate on both sides. Integrate on both sides. So what do we get? On integration we get integral of 1 by concentration of R dr equals minus K into integration of dt. Okay. Now from the principles of integration we have understood that 1 by R dr will be log R. So 1 by x dx or 1 by y dy, when we do integration we will have log function in that. So on integrating this LHS, I will get ln of R. Ln is natural log, that is log to the base e. So ln R equals minus k t dt. Integration of dt is t only, and we introduce a integral constant I. Find out the value of I applying the same principle as we did earlier. When t is 0, at the beginning of the reaction, t is 0, the value of R will be R0, that is initial concentration R0. Substitute in this expression, you will get the equation ln R naught equals I, because t becomes 0. So when you found the value of I, substitute this value of I in this expression. What do you get? This will be ln of R equals minus kt plus ln R0. Okay. Now once again send ln R to RHS and kt to LHS. Then you will get kt equals ln R naught minus ln R, natural log. And also we know about the logarithm function. Log a minus log b can be written as log of a over b. Apply the same rule here. You will get kt equals ln of R0 over R. Alright. Then cross multiply t to RHS. You will get k equals 1 over t ln R0 by R. Now the final step is converting this natural log into log to the base 10. Whenever we convert natural log into log to the base 10, 2.303 has to be introduced. So I get k equals 2.303 by t log. So if you write simple log, it represents log to the base 10. So log of concentration R naught over concentration R, and this becomes the expression, integrated expression for the rate constant of first order reaction. Have a look at the derivation once. Now the next concept is half-life period of a reaction. We have seen, studied and understood about the rate of a reaction using graphical representations for reactant versus time and product versus time. The graphs look like this. Reactant versus time will have a exponentially decreasing curve. Product concentration versus time will have a exponentially increasing curve. These two represent something. On progressing time, this curve keeps on sloping downward, but you cannot identify where this curve would meet the x-axis, that is time axis, which in turn means we cannot identify or find out exactly at what point of time the reaction gets over. So it is difficult to find out, even though if you consider product, even there the same problem arises. It becomes almost like a saturated line, and that means you cannot identify where the reaction is going to end. So to find out 100% completion of a reaction, it will be highly difficult. In such case, instead of going for the completion time of a reaction, we study about half-life period of a reaction, so that every once after a half-life period, we will understand what is the percentage of completion of reaction. So we must study what is half-life period. The definition is very simple, as the title indicates: time taken by a reaction to reduce the concentration of its reactant exactly to half. So it means if R0 was the concentration initially, because we have the standard representation, we have been using this in our derivations also, R0 is taken as the initial concentration. If this is the concentration initially, after half-life, the concentration left will be R0 by 2. So whatever time is taken for the reduction of the amount of reactant exactly to its half the quantity, we call that time interval as half-life period of a reaction. So time taken to reduce or decrease the initial concentration of a reactant exactly to its half is called half-life period of a reaction. Now we have to understand what is half-life period of a zero order reaction, and also we will see what is half-life period of a first order reaction. So I have considered zero order reaction. The same reaction, R gives P, is our zero order reaction. For this reaction, we have derived an expression for the rate constant. Rate constant is given as R0 minus R by T. So this is the expression which we have derived just now for a zero order reaction. Now if I apply the condition, when T is T half, which means half-life, at the point of this half-life time, we will have the concentration of R as R0 by 2. Okay. In this expression, we can understand that R0 is the initial concentration and R is the concentration at the point T, or time T. If T has become T half, R must have become R0 by 2. Substitute this value in the expression, you will get K equals R0 minus R0 by 2 over T half. Okay. Then take a LCM of this, or otherwise simple it is 1 minus half will be half only. So cross multiply K and T half here, you will get T half equals R0 by 2 K. K has gone to denominator, half of R0 is remaining, so R0 by 2 into K will be the expression for half-life of a zero order reaction. And here the important point to be noted, understood is half-life is directly depending upon the initial concentration of this reaction. So I would say T half is directly proportional to R0 for a zero order reaction. So if the initial concentration is high, half-life will be high. If concentration is low, half-life will be low. To give you an example, if I say 10 mole per liter was the initial concentration and half-life was 10 minutes, definitely if R naught is changed to 5 mole per liter, if the concentration is reduced, half-life of this reaction will also be reduced to maybe 5 minutes. Like that, half-life depends directly on initial concentration of the reactant during a zero order reaction. Now we will see first order reaction. I have considered first order reaction. Once again, R gives P is the representation. We know that rate constant expression for first order is 2.303 by T into log of concentration R0 by concentration of R. Okay. Apply the condition again. When time T is T half, if T is T half, R becomes R0 by 2. If R has become R by 2, R naught by 2 and T is T half, substitute these values in the expression, then we get K equals 2.303 by T half into log of R0 by R0 by 2. Okay, R0 get cancelled and 2 goes to numerator. Therefore, I get 2.303 log 2 by T half. So in this step, I will cross multiply T half to LHS and K to RHS and also find out the value of log 2. Log 2, we know that 0.3010 is the value of log 2. And if you multiply these two values, 2.303 into 0.3010, you will have the answer 0.693. Okay, you can do the calculation on your own, you will get the same answer. Substitute everything here. Instead of 2.303 and 0.3010, I will write directly 0.693 divided by, instead of T half, I will cross multiply that to LHS and K to RHS. I will have over K and given as T half. This is the expression for half-life of a first order reaction. And here you can clearly understand that half-life of a first order reaction is not at all depending upon the initial concentration of reactant. It means the half-life is independent of initial concentration, R naught power 0. That means again, half-life of a first order reaction is a constant. No matter how much of reactant is considered in the beginning of reaction, the half-life of first order reaction remains as a constant. It will not vary. To give you an example, if I say 10 mole per liter is the initial concentration of reactant and half-life was 10 minutes, you change the condition. Initial concentration is reduced to 5 mole per liter and you have started the reaction. Even now, the half-life of reaction remains as 10 minutes. It will not vary. So half-life will not vary with the amount of concentration of reactant. So concentration and half-life are independent of each other for a first order reaction. That can be a question for your board exam also. Prove that the half-life of first order reaction is independent of initial concentration. This can be the way to prove it. After finding this expression, you have to say that half-life is a constant. So it is independent of initial concentration. Now let's see a generalization of the concept of half-life's dependence on initial concentration for different order reactions. So I will consider in general for a nth order reaction. for an nth order reaction, rate is given as concentration by time. Also, rate is written as constant into concentration of reactant power n. So this is equal to concentration R naught by T. If I say the time is half-life, substitute T half for T and R naught by 2, because it is half-life, initial concentration will be reduced to half of it. So I get K into R naught power n equals R naught by 2 by T half. Now cross multiply T half to LHS. T half is equal to R naught by 2K into R naught power n. I hope you can easily understand this cross multiplication step. Now take this to numerator. You will get 1 over 2K into R naught power 1 minus n. This will be the expression for half-life of any order, nth order reaction. Now in general, T half is directly proportional to R naught power 1 minus n. So this is the generalization of the relation between half-life and initial concentration of the reactant. Now using this, we will see what will be the relation between T half and R naught for a zero order, first order and second order reactions. If order is 0, then value of n becomes 0, which means T half is proportional to R0 power 1. So the meaning of this is half-life is directly proportional to initial concentration. For a zero order reaction, half-life is directly proportional to initial concentration. If the order is 1, that is first order reaction, then T half is proportional to R naught power 0, because 1 minus 1 becomes 0, and this indicates that half-life is a constant. These two we have derived in our expressions of half-life for zero order and first order reactions. Now I will extend this to second order. If the reaction is second order reaction, then T half is proportional to R naught power 1 minus 2, which means minus 1, or I can write it as T half proportional inversely to R naught. So it means half-life of a second order reaction is inversely proportional to initial concentration. So these are the generalizations for zero, first and second order reactions. You can extend it to any order. In fact, even the fractional order can be understood using this same expression, T half proportional to R naught power 1 minus n. So in this video, this is it. The next concepts I am going to discuss in my next video. Keep watching. Thank you.